Happy holidays, everyone.
Welcome to the Bacon and Eggnog Christmas Special.
I'm Tyler Carlin.
And I'm Ethan Edgehill, or Ethan Sledhills.
Sledhills. I'm Tyler Karen.
Got no L's.
Get it? No L? Anyway, and this week we decided to listen to you.
Why did you say, oh, because it's still got no L's.
No L's!
We took a poll of some of your favorite Christmas movies.
And then we picked a couple to go ahead and review. I think we actually picked two that the same person suggested.
They were suggested by multiple people, though. Both of them were.
Correct, they were. Anyway, we polled some of your favorite Christmas movies. We picked a couple to go ahead and review.
And we're so happy you guys decided to join us for this.
If this is your first time listening to us, welcome to Bacon and Eggs. You don't have to listen to anything else, but if you'd like to, you can go ahead and take a listen to all our previous episodes. We've been covering the Marvel Cinematic Universe up to this date.
But if you want to just dive in, you can. This episode will stand by itself as Christmas movies.
Yeah, so grab your eggnog and hot cocoa.
And bundle up by your fire.
Because this week we are reviewing The Polar Express
and Elf.
Two truly classic Christmas favorites.
Without further ado, Tyler, what'd you think of these movies?
I liked one of them a lot.
I liked one of them a lot more than I liked the other one.
And I have always liked the other one. I
have not seen it in a long time.
It turns out neither have I.
So which one are we doing first, for starters?
I think we're going to start with the Polar Express.
Start with the Polar Express. Okay.
Correct.
Polar Express was released on November 10th, 2004.
This is, up until this moment, the oldest movie we've ever reviewed.
Yep. So it was what, 13 years? 13 years?
Yeah, 4,780 days.
Yep, 4,780 days. It had a budget of $160 million. I want to put that...
Iron Man?
That is 20 million more than Iron Man.
Golly.
It is, at this time, the highest animated movie budget ever.
Really?
Ever. Up to the recording of this.
Okay, because I was like,
up to the filming of the Polar Express. It was the most.
Because I've seen budget. Coco.
I feel like Pixar manages to get it done on less of a budget.
I don't know, man.
Pixar doesn't waste a lot of money on actors.
This movie actually made more than I would expect, especially compared to the movie that we're also reviewing. It made $309 million, but it was not received very well.
Yeah, I'll tell you why it made $309 million. First of all, it's an incredibly successful book that everyone loved. And second of all, Tom Hanks.
No, Tom Hanks, man.
It's Tom Hanks. Yeah, Tom Hanks in a Robert Zemeckis movie, the guy who made Forrest Gump.
Oh, I know. How could you mess it up?
Yeah, you can't. Well, apparently, you can't.
You
can mess it up.
It didn't totally pan with critics, though. It got a 55%, which sounds bad. It sounds like a failing grade, but at the end of the day, what that really means is over half of critics who saw it did like it.
Right, but this is Robert Tomatoes. This is Rotten Tomatoes. This is like basically they're basing it on like whether or not they would go see it.
Right.
And 45% of critics are like, nah. If I could get this one back, I would.
Yeah, but the audience, a little bit better, still a failing grade. 63% audience liked it, and it got a 55 on Metacritic, which is shocking.
I mean, that's pretty bad.
It's terrible, but it matches the critic score on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's never been a thing before.
Yeah.
This will be, I believe, the worst reviewed movie we've ever done at this point.
Might be.
I believe so. I believe The Incredible Hulk got a higher Rotten Tomatoes score. I believe. Anyway, I'm gonna try my best here for this movie, not to just be a Grinch about it, but like, this movie is just not great.
Well, Ethan, I've got some exciting news for you. We actually have some listener questions about this movie.
Yeah, hit me with it.
So, where are my listener questions?
Let me just preface this movie while Ty's looking up his listener questions. I tried really hard to like this movie. Anybody who knows me knows I love trains. I love trains. I
wouldn't say anybody who knows you knows that, but anybody who's ever seen your license plate knows that.
I've ever seen my license plate. I guess this is something I kept kind of a secret because it's like a nerdy passion of mine. So I wouldn't say anybody who knows me knows this, but like a few people at this point know. I love trains, man. I grew up in a household surrounded by Lionel model trains. Yeah. Like my dad has most of his like.
Now hold on, was that Line L or Lionel, like Lionel Richie?
It's spelled like Lionel, like Lionel Richie, but it's pronounced Lionel. Okay. So Lionel. Okay. They are one of like two ever makers of like model trains, like that ran on like a track. That they were O gauge model trains. It was a certain size.
Golly, you know a lot about these trains.
I do. Okay, well that's what I was about to say. Is like my dad has most of his like liquid asset in Lionel trains. Like we've got trains that have never come out of the box, never been run ever.
Weird. We have that with Hot Wheels.
Yeah, and we have some that have had the crap beat out of them because like my dad still has his first model train set he got when he was 3 years old in 1955. It's like made in 1955, right. So it's got some wear on it. But at the same time, I know a lot about Lionel model trains. I know a lot about trains. I love trains. So this movie like should have hit all those buttons for me, but it just didn't.
Yeah, it didn't.
Like for example, that in the beginning, that kid has that scene, the weird kid with the glasses, right? where he's like, you know what kind of train this is? This is a Baldwin 284, and it's a Berkshire class. It was made for the Paramarquette Railroad or whatever.
You have an incredibly good nerdy kid voice. Kid's not named in the movie, by the way, in case you're curious.
He's know-it-all in the credits.
Yeah.
He's know-it-all. Anyway, to give you a reference, I already knew going into this, before the movie not before the movie started, but as soon as I saw the train, I was like, oh yeah, it's a 284 Berkshire class.
Really? You knew that?
I knew that off the top of my head because the first model train set I ever got was a 284 Berkshire class.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I know what those look like off the top of my head.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, so that was wild. I also saw another train movie the next day after I watched this. I went to see Murder on the Orient Express. Much better movie than this.
Really?
But the train runs way less.
You know, there's a lot of good movies that have trains in them. Have you seen Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone?
I have. Lots of the Harry Potter movies. I wouldn't say all of them. Lots of them have the train in it.
Yeah.
It's not in the last one, I don't think. Yeah, it is. Never mind. It is. It is in the last one.
Anyway.
Whatever.
I
Sorry, I'll stop there for a second.
I got our listener questions here.
Go for it.
So Natasha Wepler, our
Canadian ambassador.
Yep, the one and only. She wants to know what the main character of the Polar Express's name is.
So he's believed to be named after the author, correct? Chris Van Allsburg.
Yeah, so his name is Chris because we are led to believe that because it takes place in Grand Rapids, where Chris Van Allsburg grew up,
right,
and because it has the store where it says he fell in love with Christmas in it,
right,
I can't remember the name of it,
right,
that it is a retelling of an experience he had.
Right. So he got this idea from an actual train, though.
Did he?
Yeah. It was on the campus of the school he went to. I believe he went to Michigan State. It's on the campus of Michigan State, or it was.
Chris in the movie is a Michigan fan.
Okay, so he went to Michigan, but like it's at Michigan State. I don't know. The trivia I read behind it made it sound like that connection was way more obvious than it is. I think is what it was. They're like, Chris Van Allsburg went to Michigan, so obviously he's a Michigan State fan, and like he knew about the train. I guess he saw the train one time, and it was the Paramarquette Railroad number 1225.
For Christmas.
So it was a random number assigned to this train. It was just sitting outside an engineering building at Michigan State.
Interesting.
And he was just like, man, Christmas train, what a great idea.
What a great idea.
He was like, Jumanji was such a hot seller. What's up? Let's write another book.
Was Jumanji the book a hot seller?
Yeah, it was.
I didn't know that.
And they made it into a movie with Robin Wilson.
Robin Wilson?
Yeah.
You sure?
Robin Williams.
There you go.
Robin Williams. I was so convinced on Wilson.
I know you were. You were ready to go. You were ready to go. Now, Ethan, I want to ask you about this movie. What characters were named without looking at the IMDb? Do you know the names of the two characters that had names in this movie?
It was Billy.
Billy
was the weird kid.
Yep, he's the lonely boy.
And then I guess Santa?
Santa Claus is the other named character.
Yeah. Yep. Billy and Santa Claus.
Yep.
And nobody else has a name. The main character is referred to as Hero Boy in the credits.
Yep, which I thought was weird. I don't feel like he's a hero.
Well, he's the hero.
Correct. He's the protagonist.
The story is about him.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so shining moment early on in this movie is we gotta give praise here because I mean I'm a big fan of the music. Alan Silvestri's score for this movie. Phenomenal.
This actually leads me into our next listener
question.
Next listener question comes from my cousin, Rachel Long, who says, why everyone thinks The Polar Express is a good movie, even though it's hella boring. The reason is because of Alan Silvestri's score.
Yeah.
Because the music sticks with you afterwards.
Yeah.
That's why people like it.
Yeah, it really does. We used to play, I guess it was every other year in band in high school. One of the groups would play this suite for... This suite for symphonic band. Which I have a question. I have a listener question from myself listening to this right now. Based on that song you were just singing. How do the kids know the song? Because when he first gets on the train, they're just sitting there going, that's the way we do it on the Polar Express.
So at first you get the impression that these kids have been on this before, right?
That's what we're being led to believe, I guess.
Right, that this is Chris's first trip, but all of these kids have been doing this for a while.
They're like, oh, we get to go see Santa every single year, but like none of them, they're all surprised.
Right, but then as the story progresses, it becomes evident that this is this is a once in a lifetime experience.
Right, you get to go once. The year you stop believing.
So Michigan is pretty far north. Like, let's assume they start in Chile.
Right.
Is that the southern tip?
I guess. I don't know.
And just go north?
Well, I mean,
Michigan.
Nobody gets picked up in Canada. Starters. That's kind of weird. Sorry,
you don't know that.
Yeah, we do.
Is Billy not picked up in Canada?
No, he's picked up in Grand Rapids. They live together.
Oh, yeah, he picked up in Grand Rapids. You're right. But anyway, I mean, nobody picked up in Canada because Canadians just believe. Yeah. If you just believe.
Another issue I have and this is with a lot of Christmas movies that take this same vein, like the Santa-related Christmas movies.
Why wouldn't you believe?
Real? Because your parents obviously 100% know that Santa's real. They wake up in the morning and they're like, "Where in the did these presents come from?
Well, they're like, oh, Santa came. Yay! Love it when Santa comes and brings presents.
Right. They're like, I bought some of these.
But Santa brought a lot of these.
So the parents 100% know Santa is real.
I was actually that was one of the questions I was going to bring up when we talked about Elf. Is like, how on earth is there a Christmas spirit problem?
Right. I had the same question in Elf. I had the same question in, like, The Santa Claus. Like,
right.
Any movie that involves Santa, any Christmas movie that involves Santa Claus, how do the parents not know? Are they just that oblivious? Are we, they're pulling the wool over our eyes hardcore.
Well, I think at the end of the day, what it comes down to is
it would be a really dumb movie if it was just like, oh, your mom says believe in Santa Claus, so you do.
Well, I know. I think what it comes down to is that at the end of the day, Santa doesn't exist, but what matters about Christmas is believing in Santa.
Oh, yeah.
Is buying into that this is a supernatural day. Like, that something bigger than just my parents went out and put presents in paper and gave them to me is happening
Right.
here.
No, so, I mean, I want to answer Rachel's question here. Why do people hype up the Polar Express so much when it's not that good of a movie? And I'll tell you why.
Feels good.
I'll tell you why we don't think it's that good of a movie. Because the bell has stopped ringing for us.
Ooh, I like that.
Like, at the end, he gets the bell and it stops ringing for everybody, even his sister, except him. So, like, when you're a kid, man, this is magic. There is I legitimately believed in magic sleigh bells that only kids could hear because they believed in Santa Claus. I thought my parents were dumb because they stopped believing. Like, this book had me sold on that idea.
I've never read this book.
I've read this book like 100 times.
Is it like The Velveteen Rabbit, or is it not that serious?
Not really that serious. It's a picture book. I mean, it's like, but it's like a really good picture book. Same with Jumanji.
I didn't even know that Jumanji was a book.
Yeah, so Jumanji, Christian Ellsberg wrote Jumanji's The Thorough and The Polar Express.
I knew that. I knew that going into this conversation.
So,
but that is interesting. So you're saying the reason that we don't like this movie is because the bell stopped doing it. Because you watch it. And listen, this movie's got a lot going for it, okay?
Right.
The animation for the time, for 2003 or 2004, it looks pretty good.
So this animation was, I think, the first and only time this has really been used. And that the movie was fully acted out in motion capture suits.
Right.
And then it was skinned over with animation.
Correct. And
as a kid, I was like, man, this is cool. They look really realistic. And as an adult in 2017 who has seen Avatar.
Right. It falls behind.
This animation in this movie is terrifying.
It is.
These kids, especially the girl referred to as Hero Girl, who's like the main girl accomplice. She is terrifying. She looks like a nightmare.
She can sing like nobody's belief, though, I'll tell you that
for sure. For sure. Oh, that song, man. When Billy starts singing about how he never gets Christmas because he's poor.
Dude, they did not address that enough in this movie. That, like, I get that they're just hinting at it and they don't want to, like, pull the wool over your eyes or whatever about how, like, there are kids that don't get to experience Christmas like you do. But, like, this is a sad story about this kid, Billy, who, like, doesn't get Christmas gifts because his family can't afford them.
They can't even afford a tree. Like, right. No, they love it. It's because he's poor.
It's because
at the end, he gets a tree.
Okay.
He goes home. Before he even looks at his presents, he sees a tree in the window for what I imagine to be the first time in his life.
Huh.
Because when they drive up, his house is completely dark, barren. Like, I don't know. I'm guessing. I don't think they're gonna be like, oh, Billy's parents don't get him presents because they beat him. I think it's just because he's poor. And it's supposed to like kind of get you one over. Like, hey, there are kids who don't get Christmas.
Well, okay, so Billy has got some deep themes involved with him, and then we've also got this incredibly well shot movie. Like, the way they did the camera angles, I thought was really interesting. There's a lot of reflective shots where you're looking like he had like a hubcap on the corner.
Yeah, then you can see the train in the hubcap.
Yeah, which I thought stuff like that was really, really cool.
Why did you have a hubcap in his bedroom? Whatever.
Is that what that was? I don't know if that was like a.
It's a hubcap.
It is a hubcap. Yeah, okay, I thought so. But there's a lot of really cool shots. I will say what I think is being pulled over our eyes in this movie is that you watch it and you feel like there's a really deep theme to it. Like, if you sat down with your English teacher, they would be able to explain it to you the way they explain, The Great Gatsby. Yeah. And that, like, you're reading this book about Jay, who is this aristocrat, but he's new money in an old money world, but really it's all a metaphor for whatever it is. I can't even remember, but you know what I'm talking about. Right. Where they're like, this is all a symbol for this, and once you realize that, it all comes together. Right. And I feel like that's happening in this movie, but I don't know what it's all a symbol for.
The theme to me is like, there's two kinds of things going on. Is it like, first of all, they're trying to convince you that you should be grateful for whatever you have.
Right.
Because obviously, like, Billy doesn't get a lot of presents because his family's poor. Like, he's grateful for the single present he ever gets. It's what he's always wanted his entire life. We never get to see what it is.
Oh, I think that's interesting. I think it's a present.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, is like, it's just a present. It's like, because you look at it and he shakes the box and it's like, oh my god, I think I know what it is. It's the thing I've wanted my entire life. And you realize that, like, all he's ever wanted was to be given a Christmas present.
Right.
And you have the
all
opposite.
I ever wanted was to be noticed.
The opposite end, you have the kid that's like, that is trying to get his presents early, and he's like, oh, all I found was this weird, underwear and everything.
Well, I think he finds that because he opens it before Christmas, right?
Well, not even that. It's just like, yeah, you're gonna get clothes and stuff. Like, be thankful people got you stuff.
Right.
Because as soon as he says that, they're just like, what? What do you mean? You're not grateful for it?
Right. But what I'm saying is, I feel like this movie, this whole story that was portrayed by Zemeckis is an allegory, and I don't know what it's an allegory for. So it's not like I hear what you're saying, that it's as not as simple, but it's like,
well, it's
be thankful for what you have and things like that. But I feel like it's an allegory for like,
it's an according to Zemeckis, it's an allegory for Christianity.
Okay, like,
so you've got your Santa, who it's the Holy Trinity. You've got Santa, the conductor, and the hobo ghost guy.
Oh. So the conductor comes to you.
He is Jesus,
right,
ferrying souls along the right path to heaven.
To Santa. Because he will not. This train will get there on time. I'm not going to lie to you. You just made this movie a little bit better for me.
Yeah, so that... Yeah, he will not let there will be no delays. The train will stay on the tracks. It will go, like, it is the him showing you the right path.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay, see, like, it wasn't that obvious to me. And it wasn't that obvious to me as a child either.
Oh, no, it wasn't obvious to me at all. Like, I had to dig for that one.
But now that you say it,
yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
It does improve the movie.
Yeah, for sure. Makes a lot of sense. And that it is an allegory for Christianity, because it doesn't matter what you use to believe, whether you need to see it, or whether you need to hear it, or whether you need like a bell or just the memory of anything. Whatever you do, just believe.
Right.
So that is kind of the allegory that it's getting at. Is those are the life lessons you get behind it. And yeah, it makes it better, but it's still just not that great of a movie. Like from the cinematic standpoint, from a movie standpoint, it doesn't. And I know I criticize movies for beating you over the head with the point, but this one like puts the point too far back.
Yeah, it doesn't beat you over the head with the point. Although now that you say it, I'm sure I'm going to watch it and be like, wow, this all makes obvious sense.
No, because I knew that before I watched it, and it's still like I had to dig for it.
Okay. Well, I will also say my big complaint with this movie is that it's like the music is amazing, but it's not fun.
No.
Like when they're in peril, they're in peril.
Yeah, they're going to die.
Right, like
the main people are. Everybody else is just like la 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 hot chocolate.
Right, but like they go on there's no comic relief, whatsoever. None. Like nobody in this movie makes you laugh. The little like Scrooge marionette is horrifying. The like scene on the lake where the ice is cracking, you're like, well, this train's gonna go down. That's all there is to it. Like there's a lot of shots where it's like a roller coaster, but it's not like a fun roller coaster. It's like, oh, by the way, we could die because we're going so fast and we could fall off the tracks.
This is a ridiculous track we got going on here.
Right, and like it's like there's no like it's not fun.
Right,
you know, like the hot chocolate scene is fun, and there's some cool acrobatics and stuff like that. But outside of that, this whole movie is like scary and sad.
Yeah, and they have that really depressing song about like you said, like why doesn't Santa come around here?
Right,
like man,
oh my gosh.
And then the girl comes in, she's just like, Santa comes here for me, so I don't know what turns up with you, but
right. But there are some heartwarming moments, but there's no fun in this movie about a train that goes to the North Pole. No, not at all. And then
the ending just kind of, and like, yeah, I get it was the same way in the book. The ending just kind of ruins it when he's like, nobody believes anymore except me.
Right. And it's like, and the movie kicks you in the face. It's like the whole point of the Santa thing is that the kids believe. Right. Like the kids believe, and there's a deeper part to it. There's the sort of practical parenting side where you can say, well, if you're not good, then Santa won't bring you presents.
Right.
And that's useful. But there's also there's this whole mythos around Santa Claus, and this is how presents get here, and parents not being stuck up about giving their children presents, but instead giving their kids presents from a third party, which I think is really cool.
Right.
It's kind of the Jesus kind of giving where it's behind your back.
Right.
Because the kids don't realize it's coming from mom and dad, and they're allowed to be ungrateful little jerks about it. Because they're kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And this movie, like the first scene is like the girl going over the physics of why Santa doesn't work.
Yeah, well, because they don't believe anymore. Because it's full of kids that don't believe anymore.
Right, but this is a movie for kids. It's an animated movie about a train to the North Pole.
No, and I get that, but that's the thing is it's supposed to make people believe again, because these are all the kids that have stopped believing. He's about to get on the train, And the conductor's like, oh, no visits to a department store Santa. No list to Santa. What's going on here? Sounds like you're in need of a Polar Express journey. And so, I mean, this kid gets on the train with no questions, though. He's just like, big train comes through my house. What's up, boys? Let's go.
It takes a second. He hesitates.
No.
Yes, he does.
He doesn't have enough questions.
All aboard.
Yeah. He doesn't have enough questions about this.
Yeah, no, he definitely doesn't. Oh, a train's here.
Yeah, at 11:55.
11:55. It's been 5 minutes to midnight all night.
Yeah. This kid, although we see before that, this kid is obsessed with Santa Claus, though. He's like got like a scrapbook of why Santa isn't real.
He's skeptical.
Yeah.
He's very skeptical. The whole movie, like everything he says is skeptical. It kind of beats you over the head with this.
Yeah.
And that like skepticism will not get you anywhere.
No.
Because like even when they're getting in the little like mail chute, she's like, come on, let's go. He's like, are you sure?
And she's like,
come
yes,
on, dude.
yes,
Yeah.
I am.
So it's
I
obvious,
can hear
like,
the bell. You can't. Sorry, bro.
Right. So like the Billy is like firmly not believing.
Yeah, because he's never got a Christmas present before, which
Right,
I get. I get that it is the point. I understand that it is the point that he is poor and so he doesn't have Christmas presents. But like in a world with Santa, he would still have Christmas presents.
Right. Santa is real.
Right.
Now, I always wonder about this. If you don't believe in Santa, do you not get gifts? And that's how like the physics of Santa thing is a moot
Yeah,
point
I think that
argument.
automatically puts you on the naughty list.
Well, if you watch Elf, there's room for everyone on the nice list.
Right, but you have to believe. The best way to the best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear.
Right. But so is that the thing? Is that why the parents are like not pushing the Santa thing? Because if you don't believe, then the parents do buy all the presents?
I guess. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of questions to be raised there because, like I said, why would the parents not be pushing it harder? Like, it makes no sense. They know Santa is real because for the last 10 or so years, presents have just randomly shown up in the house, regardless of whether they bought them or not.
Do you want to run down the plot? I feel like we've talked about most of what I want to talk about in this.
No, for sure. Okay, well let's run down the plot real quick. Okay. So first of all, we got Tom Hanks playing like 7 million parts.
Which is cool.
He does the voice acting for the father and the grown-up kid at the same time. Yep. He is also the voice for the conductor and for Santa Claus and for Ebenezer Scrooge and the hobo.
Yep.
And he does the motion capture for the boy, as well as Santa Claus and Ebenezer Scrooge and the hobo and a lot of other people. And then, so Tom Hanks does like everything in this movie. It's like Tom Hanks and a bunch of other like bit parts.
Yep.
So, just point that out. We got Tom Hanks right quick, and there's a theory going around that the conductor is the kid in the future, and that he is a time traveler. It goes back to like help himself believe.
Is that what we're supposed to be believing here?
No, I mean it's just a theory because they're all the same voice actor. Because the voice actor of his father and also him and the conductor are all the same person. Like without any kind of affected dialogue. Like he kind of puts on a voice to be the hobo and puts on a voice to be Santa.
What do you think of the hobo character?
He's cool. He's a ghost.
He's a ghost. He is a ghost.
He's the Holy Spirit.
That's very interesting. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, he's cool. Well, I'll get to that in a second.
He's there for you when you need him.
Yeah, exactly. So the kid goes to sleep at like 10:20 or whatever. That was significant because it's the same time that Scrooge went to bed in the original Christmas Carol with Alistair Sim in like 1920.
There you go.
Yep.
That's in the Christmas Carol. Who wrote that?
Charles Dickens.
Charles Dickens. I knew that.
Charles Dickens. So this is apparently also supposed to be a Christmas Carol allegory, like a loose one.
Ghost of Christmas, present, past, and future. So the future would be the conductor, past would be the ghost, and the present would be Santa Claus.
Yeah, believe so. Something like that. I have no idea. That one was tough for me to buy into, but apparently that's like a thing. Because there's like Scrooge references and stuff. And it could just be because I think Zemeckis had already decided to make that really god-awful Christmas Carol with Jim Carrey.
I didn't even know that happened.
Oh yeah, it's an animated one. It came out like 2 or 3 years later. It's got Jim Carrey playing Ebenezer Scrooge, and it's also terrifyingly actimated. Yeah, let's call it actimated, because it's motion capture animation.
Actimated, I'll take that.
But yeah, so kid goes to sleep at 10:20. He wakes back up at 11:55, and there's like a train just like steaming through his neighborhood. Nobody else hears it. It's loud. It's a loud train.
Great locomotive chase. Are we doing just middle school band pieces now? I think that's not the Great Locomotive Chase. That's like Tetris.
Nope. That's the Great Locomotive Chase. I'll link in the description to the Great Locomotive Chase by Bobby W.
Bob's W.
Yeah. So
Bobo.
all the train sounds are from the actual train, the Père Marquette 1225.
Neat.
They've restored it, and it now runs like excursion missions somewhere in Michigan, like the 7-Eleven or 6-Eleven does. Anyway, and we see him tear a hole in the pocket of his rope. It's good continuity there.
Yeah. I mean, they had to do that.
He tears it on the bedpost.
That was one of those things. You also notice, so you know how they say when you see a character coughing in a movie, it's always for a plot point.
Yeah.
Like they never write in coughing.
Yeah.
Unless it's for a reason. I think it was this one. We watched 2 Christmas movies. There was a point later in the movie where the conductor coughs.
Does he?
Did you catch this?
No, I didn't. I did not.
I'm like 90% sure that's this movie.
Okay.
And he's like not standing near anybody and just coughs a few times. I didn't know what that was about. I wasn't sure if you caught that or if you had any theories on that, but I have nothing.
I also didn't know about that being like a plot point. I had no idea.
You didn't know that? No. Like anytime a character coughs in a movie, it's for a reason?
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, why would they write that in?
I have no idea. I've never like thought about it. I guess I don't pay attention to coughing in movies enough.
You need to. You need to get on that right now. So.
Anyway, so kid goes outside. There's a big train. Conductor comes out and asks a bunch of questions and is just like, hey, you want to get on the train? And
all aboard!
Yeah. Hi, my name's Cork. This is Meek.
Aboard!
You want to get on this big train?
You can join us if you'd like.
Yeah.
Starting a revolution.
And he's just punching all kinds of weird stuff in everybody's tickets. And so, like, yeah, you get a bunch of stuff in the tickets. But he doesn't punch the Hero Girls tickets for some reason.
I don't know why that is.
Yeah, because it's a plot point. Because he has to lose the ticket.
No, I think there's a reason he doesn't do it. He says he didn't do it on purpose, but he's so obsessed with that hole punch, he would have done that.
I don't know. I think it's a plot point. I think they just needed something else to add to the movie to make it more than 45 minutes long.
I think he does it because he knows he's going to punch Leader into hers.
Right. She's got to get that time to develop it. She probably also knows that she's going to lose it and that other boy's going to have to, like, help him find it.
But do you think that Billy was supposed to be on the train? Or do you think they were supposed to go to his house to pick him up and he doesn't get on? Do you think that was what was supposed to happen?
Probably, because he doesn't believe. Like, more so than the other ones, he doesn't believe.
He definitely doesn't. He's not even on the believer's train.
Right. He's on the weird back car, which is his choice, but, where am I?
I don't know.
Yeah, they lose the ticket, and we get the Forrest Gump feather scene with the ticket.
Did you catch that?
Yeah.
They did that in a couple of his Tom Hanks films. They did that in obviously Forrest Gump. Yep. They did it in this movie, and there was one more that I can't remember.
I don't know. Maybe it's a Zemeckis thing.
No, it's a Zemeckis Tom Hanks thing. I'm gonna find out.
That's not important right now. Or I guess it is.
No, you keep going with the plot.
Okay. And then they decide to go. Oh, what is it? He drags the girl off and was like, "Oh man, you know what we're gonna have to do with you?" And she's like, "I have no idea." And he drags her to the back of the train, and for a second time, we get the scene of Billy, like, trying to cross the train cars. And, like, there's this huge space between the train cars.
Yeah,
he's like, gonna fall in and die. And, like, Pullman carriages do not have that much space between them.
They don't?
No, absolutely not.
Huh.
It's super unsafe. And they're also generally, like, connected. Like, there's a walkway type thing.
Yeah, that's a pretty normal thing with trains, is you can go between cars.
Yeah, all the time. But it's like, well, and that's the kid even says, he's like, it's against the National Rail Service rules that no kids can run between the trains without an adult present.
That is his voice, man. You got it nailed.
I don't know where this is coming from. It's just like, I just start talking and it happens. I
hate that kid.
Even in my head, I'm like, wow, that really sounds like him.
I really don't like that kid. I won't lie to you. Like, if I had to pick a favorite child in any movie,
I mean, you're not supposed to like the kid. But, so Hero Boy goes up on the roof in search of the thing, and he meets the hobo, who's singing Good King Wenceslas to himself. Good King Wenceslas, the song about the guy who guides his young page boy through the snow in his footsteps.
Yep. So
thought that was cool. It was a little thing, because then the hobo proceeds to help the kid get through the snow with his skis, because they ski across the top of the train.
I love his skis.
Yeah, so
first he puts them on his shoulders, and then he has them on the skis themselves.
Right, because he's got to jump, because at the end, they're like, all right, he's like, all right, kid, as soon as you see the beginning of the tunnel, just jump.
And he does.
And he jumps, and the hobo vanishes.
And he jumps into, like, the coal
The kid jumps into the coal and comes out of the coal not dirty at all.
I mean, come on, man. It's a movie.
I mean, I get it, but, like, there's no dust on him whatsoever. He just jumped in coal. You'd have a little bit of stuff on you.
A little bit of... I got the black lung pop.
Yep. Anyway, so the
Zoolander
girl is driving the train.
Because she's got to be the leader.
Yeah,
she's got to have a chance
she
to be the
drives
leader.
the train because the engineers are on the front of the train changing a lamp.
So who drives the train in real life? Is it the conductor or the engineers?
Usually a pair of them.
Okay.
That's who drives the train in real life. Conductor's job is like to
conduct.
Yeah, to punch all the tickets and stuff.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Yep, he's the ticket puncher guy. But they get. We get this scene where he has to trust the girl. Because he's like, man, this brake lever looks an awful lot like a brake lever, but you're telling me to pull the other lever. And she's just like, trust me, I heard him right. And he goes to not trust her at first, and then he does trust her. And the train stops right in front of a herd of caribou.
Yep.
Who make a really horrible noise.
Yeah.
I don't know what noise the caribou make, but it's awful.
It's not a good one.
It's an awful noise.
Not a happy noise.
They get the caribou off the track by the other engineer with the long beard screaming at them.
They pull the beard.
Yep.
It's a weird thing.
Yep. And then we get this classic scene that is made into a lot of GIFs where the train it won't stop accelerating and it goes and like starts sliding over the ice because it's not on the tracks anymore.
Can that happen? You're a train person. Can that happen? Can trains just drive on not train tracks?
Listen. this thing that they do where they steer the train back and forth cannot happen. Trains do not have a steering mechanism.
Whatsoever?
No, that's what the tracks are for.
So they can't break one side.
No, I mean, I guess you could, but like, I don't think it would be that effective.
I mean, on ice?
I don't know, man. All I was thinking the whole time is multi-track drifting.
All I was thinking the whole time was, this is horrifying. These kids are going to die.
They are definitely going to die. My girlfriend who I was watching this movie with, because I rented this movie on my Xbox for $3.99, my girlfriend pointed out a really good thing, a really good point, and she said, just straight out, she goes, why would the water level ever be over the ice? Or over the tracks, ever?
That's a good question.
Like, why would they build
Is it
the track
because water
below?
expands?
I guess, but it doesn't seem like we expand that much.
I don't know.
I don't know, man. I was skeptical of that one after she pointed that out.
It's called Wobbleglorming. Okay,
Yeah.
Ethan, look it up.
But then we go through the island of misfit toys, the car of misfit toys. They're bringing the toys up for the recycled toys program, and the kid,
what is that?
The kid gets scared by the Scrooge puppet.
Yeah, because it's horrifying.
It is horrifying.
It's a scary movie.
And then we get the really sad song.
Dun, dun, dun,
And
and
he's just like, I guess that Santa's busy because he never comes around. It's like Toy Story 2 level sadness.
Toy Story 2 is so
oh my
good.
god, that song that Jesse sings, like the When Somebody Loves You. Oh god, what a song, man! What a sad song.
What a tearjerker.
But she sings the song with him, and they bust the weird lonely kid out of his shell, so they're friends now.
Kids singing always gets
yeah,
me. You know,
and then,
there's a movie with a child singing always gets me.
And then they go up the weird like Mount Crumpet incline type thing where the train just couldn't turn that tight of a circle. It's not possible. Across a big bridge, and then they're at the North Pole. And the kids know that the North kids Pole, are singing the song again, man. Like, how do they know this song?
Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so you're just gonna accept that there's a magic train, but you're not gonna accept that these kids know a song?
Yeah, but like, why would they know the song? It's not like
maybe that is like in this universe the equivalent
but it's not,
to like.
But it's not because
Santa Claus.
But it's not because Chris, the hero boy, who is Mr. Skeptic about Santa, has never heard of the Polar Express.
That's true.
Because he's like, where's this train going? And it's clearly says Polar Express on the side. Conductor's like, the heck you mean, where's it going? This is the Polar Express.
Yeah, obviously.
And so like that, if anybody would know, that kid would know. But, I don't know. We get elves. All the elves are also terrifying looking.
Okay, here's my issue with the elves. Okay, you mean to tell me it's Santa Claus, and I'm going to praise this in Elf.
Okay.
Santa Claus, in all his magical glory, needs that many elves?
Oh yeah, like a bajillion elves.
No, the whole point is that the elves, even an elf, they address it. And they're like, the elves make things, they can make 1,000 Etch-a-Sketches when a man who is trained by elves can make 85.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, elves don't need, you don't need that many. It's a small community.
Bajillion of elves.
Bajillion of elves. And they've got like navy elves and
yeah, like the like flying circus elves.
No, I'm not about it. I want
I don't know, man.
Toy making elves. That's all I want.
Man, there's like a whole civilization of elves. They get this. It's like a huge North Pole
like
elf city. Yeah. Okay, so
they're in like a factory and they're like complaining about normal factory worker things, like union complaints and stuff. They're like, oh well, we're behind such and such on blah 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 blah. It's like, get the union involved, bro. Be more happy at work.
Santa's workshop is designed to look like the Pullman factory in downtown Chicago, down the street from Robert Zemeckis' childhood home. And they make train cars. Pullman makes train cars.
Train cars, huh?
Yeah. So it's just a cool little factoid, little fun fact. And I have a note right here that says, Jesus Christ, kids, stop running off.
Right.
Because for like the third time, they just run away and bad things happen. They accidentally disconnect the train car because this kid's clumsy and just keeps ruining things with his big feet. And they disconnect the train car and the car just starts careening away and this kid starts screaming about the emergency brake for the third time.
He's trying to get that emergency brake.
Yeah, literally, Katie looked at me and goes, this kid and the fucking emergency brake.
It's crazy. It's all he wants.
All he wants is an emergency brake, man. Screw the North Pole.
That's what he got for Christmas.
Probably. I mean, he got a bell. It's a pretty lame present. The one thing he asked
Santa for. It's a pretty cool present. He got the first gift at Christmas, which, by the way, Billy should have gotten the first gift at Christmas.
Well, the thing is, Billy doesn't exist in the book.
Well, I don't care if Billy doesn't exist in the book. Billy's a huge plot point.
I also have an issue to raise with that later on, but we'll get there in just a second, because I just got a couple things left to go through. So yeah, they make their way through Santa's workshop, and they get themselves in Santa's bag.
No, that's a balloon, man.
No, they're in the bag.
I know, but it's a balloon filled with rice. You ever filled a balloon with rice? It looks like that bag.
I mean, yeah, probably. But and then the bag is attached to a blimp, and it starts to fly away, and they're just like, it starts to go toward the Christmas tree, and they're just like, oh my god, you need more altitude. Like, go around.
Oh yeah, what is this?
Just go around the Christmas tree. Like
not like it matters. You've got the SEAL Team elves hopping out.
Yeah, and they
fixing the Christmas
they bungee
tree.
jump the star back up to the top. Oh man! And this is when the kid does that thing where he's like, "I only got underwear for Christmas."
Hey bro, you probably needed it.
Yeah, you probably just shit yourself when that giant blimp thing you're on hit a Christmas tree.
This movie, it really gets derailed. Get it?
Oh man, okay.
Derailed.
And they're all singing.
Yeah.
They get all the reindeer ready, and the reindeer are like jonesing to get on with it. On Dasher, on
Right,
Donder,
like,
on whatever. And then Santa comes out. They're all singing Santa Claus is coming to town, like in a really creepy 1,000,000-person monotone. Which is super weird. Santa comes out, and like the elves are just in the way.
Elves are going nuts. You can't see Santa because the elves are in the way, but you do see Santa. Like you get a view of his face.
I can't see him. I can't see him. And then,
like, well,
and then this is the issue I have, is because the kid gets the bell like rolled to his feet and picks it up.
Yeah.
And like that doesn't happen in the book because he just asks for the bell. Like when Santa asks him what his first gift of Christmas is going to be, he asks for the bell. And he does the same thing, but
that's a good
But like
gift.
he doesn't already know about it at that point. In this one he does, where he just picks it up and goes like, "I believe
that the Lord Santa created the universe,
and I believe this bell is going to remind me of him for the rest of my life."
Here's my thing. Okay, so I guess the reason he gets the bell is because what's important to this child the rest of the 11 months of the year is debunking the debunked Santa myth.
Right. And they're like, "You're going to ruin it for your sister, man. Stop."
Oh, I know. She was like all about it. It's like, bro, okay, now that you're on like the other side of the story, you have to play along with people who are not on the same side of the story you were on.
Yeah, for sure. It's strange. And so we get that. So he goes and gives the bell back to Santa, and then that gets him the right to be the first gift at Christmas over Billy.
I know Billy, like he's the one that went from not believing to all the way believing, as opposed to skeptical.
And I think that's why he gets the first present, is because why he doesn't get the first present, because he already believes. He saw his Christmas present like with his name on it.
That's my address.
Yeah, which was the last present wrapped on Christmas. So yeah, maybe he really wasn't supposed to be on there.
Well, because he's not a believer, so he wouldn't have gotten a present.
So yeah, the last present wrapped on Christmas with a number 7 bow.
Oh, number 7, 6-inch ribbon curls, honey.
6 inches.
That's impossible.
Anyway, so he gives the bell back to Santa, and then Santa's like, "Who's gonna get the first gift of Christmas?" And then Hero Boy gets to be the first gift. Santa gives him the bell back, and he sticks it in his pocket, and he puts it in the wrong pocket because they don't know.
Did you see it right away?
Oh, yeah.
That it was the wrong pocket.
Well, and I also have my girlfriend sitting there next to me going, "Wrong pocket, asshole."
I can see her saying.
Yeah, it was great. And she also, as soon as the bell started ringing, like the actual like big bells to tell him it's time to go because it's finally midnight because it's no longer 11:55. She goes, "That's my alarm clock noise."
Is it?
100% the exact same noise.
Interesting.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, so that's the movie. Ethan,
hang on. We got a little bit left.
Oh, okay.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. One last thing. They don't have Rudolph, which I thought was interesting. Rudolph is not leading the charge for them. There's no Rudolph. There are just eight other reindeer.
I mean, maybe it wasn't that foggy of a Christmas night. Maybe this was prior to Rudy.
I mean, I'm just saying. Like, I just thought it was interesting that Rudolph wasn't there. I'm not saying it's like a commentary either way. I just think it's cool. And they get the tickets, the rest of the tickets, and the like Billy, the Billy says like depend on, rely on, count on, which means he needs to like learn to trust other people. The weird know-it-all kid says learn, which basically means shut the heck up for once. And
learn to shut your mouth.
The girl says lead because she's a leader, and then Hero Boy says believe. So I got one last thing to talk about with the plot because I think it's important. The conductor, when he gets off, gives him a little piece of advice. He's like, one thing about trains, doesn't matter where they're going, it's about deciding to get on.
Yep, that's what he says.
I just think that's important because it's what changes life, man. It's not about the destination. It's about taking the first step, going on the journey.
It's the climb. That's Miley Cyrus song.
Nope,
in case you're curious.
not what word I was going for. But he gets the present.
About what's waiting on the other side.
Yeah, he lost the bell and then he unloses the bell.
He gets it for Christmas.
He gets it for Christmas from Mr. C or whatever.
Yep. So Ethan, if this is a Christmas morning breakfast food, what is it? I think I know.
What constitutes a Christmas breakfast food?
That's the thing. Is like Christmas breakfast food is supposed to be top tier.
Yeah.
So this is not a top tier. This is like toast. on white bread with peanut butter.
Toast on white bread.
With
not
peanut butter.
Toasted white bread. Toast on white bread.
Toasted white bread with like peanut butter. Like when you're
Yeah.
supposed to have some nice Christmas bread.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like
bust out the good stuff.
Yeah.
This isn't that.
Yeah, no. I mean, it warmed my heart. I cried a little bit at the end.
I cried during the credits when Josh Groban started singing.
I cried at the end when Billy got home and he had a present and like had a tree.
I wish I liked this movie.
Yeah, it was. I tried really hard. I like trains. I tried really hard.
I actually always hate it when we do a movie and I don't like it.
Yeah, I feel really bad about it. Like, I don't want to just sit here and like ruin Christmas for the people that suggested this.
Although, to be fair, some of the feedback on this movie is, and I can quote directly here, one of my listeners says...
Our listeners...
One of our listeners says, this is from listener Stella Joe. Fun fact, the Polar Express makes me want to poke my eyes out and cut my ears off and walk to the nearest ATM and cry and go to sleep and get mugged and do anything other than watch the Polar Express. I don't feel necessarily that way about it, but I see where she's coming from.
What a great statement.
I don't know. The part that gets me about this is what on earth is she doing at the ATM? That's what I want to know.
I don't know,
and
man.
To find out, you can join the Bacon and Eggs fans Facebook group. Link in the description.
Yeah,
Boom.
Link in the doobly-doo.
Plug.
But yeah,
get that plug.
It was something, man. It was something.
Anyway, moving on to our other Christmas movie of the night.
Are we just setting it right there? All right, screw it, man.
Have you
Polar
ever
Express
seen
was
Ethan?
okay.
Without further ado, what do you think of Elf?
I love Elf.
Elf's so good.
I love Elf. Oh, it's
Can I
such a
hit
good
you with
movie.
Can I hit you with a mind-blowing fact real quick?
Yeah, sure.
This movie was released 5,149 days ago.
5,000.
That's November 7th, 2003.
5,000 days ago. All right.
I thought this movie was released less than 7 years.
No,
in this
I remember
decade.
going to see this in the theaters. It was in elementary school. It was my boy Alex Bond's birthday party that we went to see Elf.
Oh my gosh.
Because the year before we went to see the National Treasure.
I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence, Ethan.
Yep. So that was we went
Fun
to see
fact
Elf.
about National Treasure, my keyboard, all the letters are purple except for AERFVGYLO, which
A glove
are
fry.
green. A glove fry, a very golf.
Fargo Levy.
It's Valley Forge.
Hit the AML twice.
Yeah. So, other fun facts about this movie. It only had a budget of $33 million.
This is our smallest budget to date.
Small by a lot.
By a lot.
Also the oldest movie we've ever.
$107 million.
Right. But it made $220 million worldwide. I guess that's at the box office because I imagine this movie's made a lot more since then.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't like a box office smash.
Yeah, I guess not. But it is a Christmas classic now.
Yeah, it got an 84% critic on Rotten Tomatoes, a 78% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, and Metacritic gave it a whopping 64.
Yeah, well, it's a comedy, so.
Yep, it is a comedy. It stars Will Ferrell. Although, originally, when the script was apparently written in 1993, apparently this movie's been around since 1993, it was supposed to star Jim Carrey.
I can absolutely 1,000% believe that.
Yeah, I don't think it would have been as good, though.
Definitely would not have been.
It would have been
He's
a
in a
very...
few Christmas movies, as you and I have already discussed.
Would have been a very different movie.
That all being said, I think Will Ferrell did a really exceptionally good job with this movie.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Do you know what the, was it the first thing or the last thing they filmed in this movie was the scenes of him just in New York?
Yeah, him like walking around New York. Yeah, it was just him and Jon Favreau and a cameraman. Just driving around the city, filming wherever they could find.
Do you know why I like this movie so much?
Why?
Because Jon Favreau directed it.
Yep. Happy Hogan himself.
Happy Hogan, man. He was out there. He was like, forget Iron Man 5 years from now. Let's do Elf. And then he appears in it, and he's hilarious. I love Jon Favreau.
I love, for once, the narration in this movie.
This movie's narrated?
It's got some narration by Papa Elf, by Bob Newhart.
Yeah.
It's got some narration in it. And he starts by introducing the different careers elves can have.
Yeah.
He's like, well, you can make shoes. You can do
While
cookies.
the old cobbler's sleeping.
Yeah. You can do cookies, but, fires.
Right.
Or you got the show, the big dance. Like, they're referring to it like Major League Baseball. And it's working in Santa's toy shop.
And I'll tell you, like I said about the last movie, this movie, not a ton of elves. Not a ton of elves.
Nope. We got
That's
very
what I
few
wanted.
elves. You know why? Because they can make 1,000 Etch-a-Sketches per day.
Per day. And they have 365 days to do it. And when was the last time you got an Etch-a-Sketch for Christmas?
Probably 1999.
So
I got one Etch-a-Sketch.
Here it is. I love this movie because the elves are making the toys. And they're usually making the toys. And they did kind of grasp the, like, electronic age thing when they're teaching the elves about, like, new computer chip
we can
processors.
make the world's latest in graphic chipset processors. We need to learn the code of the elves.
But what I love is that they're making, like, the toys you get for Christmas.
Right. There's, like, an elf, like, sharpening a Louisville Slugger.
Right. And, like,
sharpening,
they're making Etch-a-Sketches.
Sanding is the word I was looking for.
I know.
Sharpen a baseball bat.
If you want to kill zombies, I'll tell you that much.
Not a weapon yet.
Yeah. But they're making the toys that you get for Christmas, like the baseball bats and the Etch-a-Sketches and the Jack-in-the-Box.
Right.
Which, by the way, if you ever give me a Jack-in-the-Box, and this is not an invitation, folks, if you ever get me a Jack-in-the-Box, I will just throw it away before it ever gets jacked.
And he's terrified every time.
Yeah, because it's horrifying. This is a terrible gift.
Every time. Every single time. Yeah, so we get a great score here in this movie. Great score. I like the music a lot. It sounds weirdly similar to the Polar Express. Like, the main theme is very similar.
Yeah, I liked that.
Yeah, I was like, this is interesting. But we get Buddy's backstory, which is cool. He's like an orphan.
Yeah, in an orphanage.
Which I have a couple questions to raise about this. First of all, it's Christmas time. That baby is literally, like, naked except for a diaper. And they put, like, a very, very thin blanket on him and just, like, kind of let him roll.
Man, it was the early 2000s.
I feel like that baby would freeze.
What do you want?
And that baby would also definitely freeze in a bag in the Arctic.
But here's the thing: is the North Pole in this situation is in, like, a whole other dimension where the sky is made of, like, blue crayon.
It's made of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the movie.
Right, which is great.
But yeah, I have a couple questions about this one as well. Like, how would Santa have not noticed him in the sack? Also, why does Santa get back to the North Pole and the sack isn't empty?
Still have presents? Yeah.
It's still got presents.
Because, and this goes back to the last one, when you stop believing, you stop getting presents from Santa.
Right, but he's already got the list made. He's checked it twice.
Things can change that night. Things changed that night for Billy in the Polar Express.
Oh, yeah, Steven Spielberg got put on the check twice list.
He did?
It was supposed to be Steven Spielberg. Oh no, the one where they're like the kid in New Jersey. Back to the Polar Express for a second. The kid in New Jersey who terrorizes sisters is a jab at Steven Spielberg.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, apparently.
I did not know that.
I read that on IMDb trivia.
It's a live-action child, all those videos.
Yep. Also, they say that Buddy must have snuck into his sack at the orphanage. Like, Santa only visits one orphanage in all of the world.
An orphanage.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Maybe this particular version of Santa not only visits just, like, Judeo-Christian homes, but only visits the homes of those who believe. And since not very many people believe right now, maybe there's only one orphanage he's got to go to. You don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like all babies would believe, though.
Babies don't believe one way or the other.
Yeah, but it's like original sin, man. Like, you can't blame them for it. Like, they don't know any better. Obviously, they get presents.
So, when you're born, do you believe in Santa or not believe in Santa? Do you have to be taught in order to believe?
I don't think you're taught to believe in Santa. I think Santa just exists in your world. Like, I wasn't taught, like, you have to believe in Santa. It's like Santa brings you presents. Like, I would just kind of accepted it.
I don't know, man. I think at some point you have to have the Santa conversation. Both the first one where it's like, okay, now this is Christmas and Santa brings you presents. And then on the other end of it, it's like, okay, this is Christmas and I give you presents.
Oh, I mean, I definitely remember the Santa conversation, and I, like, cringe thinking about how ungrateful I was about it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I still get presents from Santa. Do you?
I don't.
I
know a lot of people do. Yeah. Like, they just kind of keep my, yeah. I mean, my parents don't really tag presents. There was never really a need to.
Yeah, well, there was 5 of us, and now there's 9 of us.
Yeah. Like, so there's just 3 of us, and, like, you know, when I was 4, I wasn't really getting my parents Christmas presents.
Right. So what we do at my house is you do the family presents to and from your family, and then behind the couch or whatever is the Santa presents, which, like, you know, when we were kids was like the Xbox or the N64 or the Wii.
Okay, so my parents did the opposite of this, and I think this is smart. I think this is smart, especially in the day and age where kids are, like, getting a lot more sensitive about things. My parents, all the cool stuff came from mom and dad.
Interesting.
Like, my parents got me the Xbox. Santa got me, like, a game.
Santa got you, like
the accessory, the thing that went with it. Yeah. Like if I got something cool, like when they got me a Game Boy, I think by the time I got an Xbox, I didn't believe in Santa anymore. But they got me a Game Boy Advance, and that came from my parents, and I remember Pokemon Crystal came from Santa.
Oh, I mean, Santa's still getting me. Last year, Santa got me a beautiful Joseph A. Banks sport coat.
Right.
That I wore to work today.
So, like, yeah, I
wore it yesterday.
And that's the thing is, like, a lot of teachers are telling their kids' parents now, like, hey, like maybe bring some of the get some of the smaller presents from Santa so that kids aren't going back to school later. Like some of the kids are like, well, Santa brought me some cool stuff, and everybody else is like, Santa brought me a MacBook. And the
Santa got me a MacBook
and the kids
Pro.
are like,
awesome.
Santa gave me some really cool presents, but my presents are only valued at like $100. It's like, let the parents get them because kids kind of understand that some people are more wealthy than others, and
I did not understand that.
Right, I'm aware of that, but
maybe it's because I came from we weren't like wealthy, but we definitely were not
right
on the other end of things.
Yeah, but so that's the thing is like all my cool gifts came from Santa, or came from my parents. All the other stuff came from Santa. And allow me, and I know we might go over time by just a few seconds because I tell this story. My dad got me really good one time.
Okay.
So you've seen A Christmas Story?
No.
You never seen A Christmas Story?
Oh wait, is that the one with Ralphie?
Yeah. He gets a BB gun for Christmas.
Yeah, the Red Ryder 45 or whatever.
Right. Okay. So it's basically in that movie you're led to believe that mom buys all the presents, dad has nothing to do with it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But then dad buys him the Red Ryder BB gun, wraps it up, sticks it behind the television, and like mom has no idea what's going on, right? And he's just like, Santa must have brought it. And my dad did the exact same thing.
Did you get the BB gun?
I did. I got a Red Ryder BB gun, and it was like past the point where I ever wanted one. Like we had BB guns lying around. It wasn't a big deal. But it was like my dad has never wrapped a present, I think, in his life. He's not like a present wrapper. Like that was mom's thing. Like even the presents he gave mom were like never wrapped.
Last year for Christmas, I paid one of my coworkers' wives to wrap all the presents.
Nice.
It wasn't like, hey, I'm gonna pay you, $50 or anything. Yeah. I think I bought them like lunch at McDonald's for wrapping the presents, but
for sure. But yeah, no. So my dad, I'm done opening all my presents, and my dad goes like, and I was probably 15 at this point, something like that. My dad goes, "Oh, what's that behind the television?" Like the exact same way the dad does it in A Christmas Story. And mom was just like, "Get the hell out! What are you talking? You didn't do that." And I went back there, and there's this like wrapped up BB gun, and she's just looking at him like, "You what?
How did you do?"
It was so She literally looked at him like, "How on earth did you pull that off?" Without me knowing about it. It was hilarious, and like it was the coolest, one of the coolest things my dad's ever done. I firmly believe the only present he's ever voluntarily wrapped.
What was the last? We're gonna get a little off topic because I love Elf, and I know we're gonna talk a lot more about this in the Christmas special coming out Christmas Day. But what was the last gift you got that wasn't like a thoughtful gift, but was a material gift that you freaked out over? So I'll give you an example. For me, the last one I think, if I recall correctly, that we opened up and I like exploded over was the Nintendo Wii, and I was like, I don't know, when did that come out? We were like 12?
Yeah, something like that.
So like I was a little on the old end for being like, oh my God, you got it.
Yeah.
But I did.
Yeah.
What was the and now, you get something really thoughtful and you kind of have that response.
Right.
What was that last thing for you? And I don't know if that's because of the internet age or because of you just grown out of it.
So
but I'm curious what it was for you.
There was a couple years ago, it was pretty recently actually. It was like 4 years ago probably. I decided, I guess I was in a weird stage of my life with all the music I was trying to learn and everything. I decided I wanted to learn to play the mandolin, right? Mm-hmm. And so I asked my parents to get me a mandolin for Christmas. I was expecting them to get me like the cheapest one they had at Kelly's Music, like $100 kind of like ukulele type thing. Mm-hmm. And I guess Dad got an awesome deal on it because he just bought me this incredible, like beautiful instrument that I just like.
I've seen it.
I popped the case open. I was like, holy fucking shit, man! Like what? It was impressive. Like it is absolutely beautiful instrument. I still to this day sort of know how to play it. But like and I feel bad for it because I'm not doing it justice. Like it's just an absolutely gorgeous instrument. So it was like something I was kind of blown away by.
I don't know, man. I think that falls into the category of thoughtful gifts.
Does it?
I think it does because like they had to go out of their this was like. I mean, I hear what you're saying, and that is super cool. But that's like they went out of their way to find not like the gift of the season, but the gift of Ethan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, but I mean, I guess I don't know. I got a lot of gifts like that throughout the years. Like my parents weren't always like a stick to the list kind of thing.
Oh man, I always hated Christmas lists, but then I also would be like, but if I really do want the Xbox.
Right, so there was always there was always that one thing that like I really wanted, and I could generally count on that. So it wasn't like I ever, and I guess that sounds bad, but like I never opened stuff up that I can remember and was just like, holy man, like this is I need to blow up about this.
I can't believe you actually got it. I mean, that's how like, back in the days before the internet where like nothing ever ran out of stock.
Right.
Well, things did run out of stock.
Right.
Now they don't. It was like a big deal to get like the holiday time video game console or Furby or the
right.
The Hot Wheel track, or I don't know what girls got because I had two brothers.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I was always kind of like I think I got like an Xbox like the year the PS3. Yeah, no, whatever one it was.
You had an Xbox before I did, didn't you?
Yeah, I think so. But like I don't know. I always got them like a year late. So like
it's weird that now they don't even come out around the holidays.
Yeah, no, they always used to come out around the holidays. But like
yeah.
Like my PS2 when I got it was used.
Really?
Yeah. Which I had no problem with. Like it still to this day runs.
My second PS2 doesn't run.
Like, it still runs. I have no issues with it. It doesn't read blue discs anymore, but it hasn't read blue discs since, like, 2005. So I'm not really hurting on that one. I use it to play like Ratchet and Clank. It's still in my living room. Like, it still runs just fine. I don't have any controllers or memory cards or anything anymore. They've all broken or gotten destroyed, but I bought new controller and memory cards. It still works fine. So I got no issue with that. My Xbox original died very early because I used to just pack it up and bring it everywhere with me.
I know. I remember we used to do like
we would do like LAN parties at Chris's house. I did the same thing with 360.
Yep.
My 360 didn't really last that long. It's got its share of issues. But yeah, so like I don't know. I was always kind of late to the party on those. I never really got them at like I got the PS2 like a year late, I guess. I don't think I got the Xbox. I got the Xbox at Christmas, but it was like the Christmas after it came out.
I'll tell you, man, growing up, those consoles were important.
Right. And I got
that was like
I got a 360. I got my 360 in the summer, like in the middle of the summer before Halo 3 came out.
Halo 3.
Yeah.
What a classic.
Came out September 3rd, 2007.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know why I know that, but pretty sure that's correct. Anyway,
but back into Elf. This movie's good, dude.
That was a great movie. Great movie. It's
I'm
hilarious.
not gonna lie to you.
It's hilarious.
It's hilarious. That was my first note. Was I'm so glad it's funny.
Yeah. So just I don't want to. If you haven't seen Elf at this point, like, what are you doing? Go see Elf.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel like we need to run the plot down to this one too much because like it is very much regardless of how it did in the box office, it's like a very common movie.
You know what always blows my mind?
What?
This is a spoiler-full show. We don't ever address that.
Well, we addressed it at Thor Ragnarok, and
That's
I
true,
will address it next week when we do The Last Jedi.
Yeah, well, I will not be a part of it.
I will address it with our guest host, but we'll get to that later in the episode. But I will, we'll do spoilers. But like at some point, and I think starting in Phase 3, we should start introducing spoilers for the Marvel movies. But like these are 13, 14-year-old movies at this point.
Right.
Like, bruh, why are you listening to this if you haven't seen it?
Right.
Why would you if you're listening to these movies and you haven't seen it, like, that's awesome. Thank you so much. But like, just go watch the movie. It's very readily available. There are links in the Facebook group.
There is links in the Facebook group.
So like, yeah, I'm not super worried about spoilers.
Right. So, this movie's good, dude. Like, I love the set they've got for the North Pole. I love that he's got the story. What bugs me about this one is that his dad, the like children's book writer, doesn't immediately grasp onto his story.
Yeah, he would be like, well, and that's the thing is I think they're trying to say is it's not like they're children's book like producers. They're not like writers. They have no passion.
Well, he has two writers.
Right, but they're not like passionate for writing.
He's not passionate for writing. But
so he doesn't care about the story. Okay, so I've a bone to pick with this. It doesn't like I get that Will Ferrell is not going to be as good at making etch sketches as an elf, but like it really doesn't seem that hard to make an etch a sketch. It looks like you put powder in a mold and then squeeze it and then hammer it 4 times.
Is it powder? I thought it was sand.
Sand is a powder.
No, sand is a grain, not a grain, like a
granule.
Powder is like a powder is more ground than sand is.
Okay, whatever. It's not leaves. Like you get what I'm saying.
It's not full-size rock.
They scoop something in there and then they press it down and then hammer each of the little
with a small
corner
mallet.
with a small mallet. Like I could do that more than 85 times a day.
Yeah, you could.
Like let's say it takes me 2 minutes. Like that doesn't seem like I probably couldn't make 1,000 in a day, but maybe he couldn't hit 1,000. But I think 85 is a low number.
I agree. He could probably do a little bit better.
He could probably be doing a little bit better.
And it's not like toy testing is going to be much easier. That seems like it takes longer. What gets me is that he's not an elf. Okay,
he's a human.
He's a human, but when he goes back to human land, he is much better at all the elf stuff.
And that's the point I was about to make. Is it like he goes and decorates Gimbals? First of all, how much did Gimbals have to pay for it to be Gimbals instead of Macy's?
Oh, for it to go out of business. That's how much.
Oh, is Gimbals out of business?
Gimbals is gone.
Wow, why is it not Macy's? What a missed marketing opportunity for Macy's.
Oh, they didn't think. They didn't. $33 million movie. What do they care
Doesn't
about?
matter. It's like they had Miracle on 34th Street. Like, that was a huge success for Macy's.
I know. They have the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Long story short, Buddy's not an elf. He's a human. And he goes to New York to live with the humans. And he's like, Santa's giving him advice about New York. And he goes, I've been to New York hundreds of times. Don't listen to Leon. And Buddy's like, you have? How is he surprised that Santa's been to New York?
Where do you think Santa's been going? I will say this. Okay, so theory time. Buddy is like, Santa's coming to town. We're going to have a mall Santa. It's going to be great. I think Santa, the real Santa, does the mall Santa thing.
I think that was definitely a thing that happens.
Right, because
like maybe not every time, but...
Well, he doesn't go to every mall.
Right.
But he does
like, the mall Santa
maybe
thing.
He goes to like one day a year, he goes to Macy's in New York.
Right, because he's definitely been to New York. He knows which Ray's Pizza is the original Ray's Pizza.
Right. Well, I figured just being Santa Claus, a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded like he'd been to Ray's Pizzas, though.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man. I'd go for some pizza right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. But, yeah. So Buddy's surprised that Santa's been to New York. I was like, it's like the biggest city in the earth. Why would you not go to New York?
Have you ever been to New York?
I have.
We've been to New York together.
Yeah, I was going to say, we've been in New York together, I think more than once.
Definitely more than once, because we went on like a whole trip to New York, and then we
one
stopped
day,
in New York
yeah.
for like 4 hours.
But yeah, so the great scene where the dude's like, Santa's coming tomorrow, and Buddy just freaks out. He's like, Santa! I know him! He's a friend from work!
I'll say this. This movie, I love Elf. I watched it. I had a good time. I laughed, cried, did the whole 9 or whatever. But it's not as funny to me anymore.
That's probably because you've seen it 17 times.
It's definitely why. But like a lot of movies, I try, like in my brain, I do this where I try to deconstruct down to one sentence, like what the pitch was for this movie. And there's only 2 movies that I can think of where you can actually just deconstruct it down to one whole sentence. And, it's the pitch to the producers and they buy. And one of them is Elf, and it's Will Ferrell plays an elf in New York City.
Right. I mean, that's all you needed.
That's the whole pitch.
Right.
The other is Talladega Nights, which literally the pitch was Will Ferrell is a NASCAR driver.
Yeah, we're going to remake Days of Thunder, but a comedy with Will Ferrell.
And that was the whole thing.
I mean, I think Will Ferrell sells himself at this point.
He does sell
himself. Kind of like Adam Sandler used to.
The good old days. Granted, this was 15 years ago, so it's not like...
Yeah, but he's had one since then, like Talladega Nights, Semi-Pro. I mean, those are not super recent. Blades of Glory.
Oh, what a class. Blades of Glory, though. I love that movie. You love that movie. Kanye West loves that movie. But that movie is in like the $2 bin at every 7-Eleven.
What kind of name is Jovi? What a weird thing to call her.
I'm trying to think if there's like a reason behind it.
I couldn't find anything. There's nothing. It's Jovie. It's not even like Bon Jovi. It's got an E on the end. Yeah, like I looked in the trivia. There's like nothing about it. There's nothing in the quotes. There's nothing in like the funny credits or whatever. Nothing. I don't know. Why is she called Jovi? Anyway, I don't get it. It's an interesting name. I don't have a problem with it. It's just like seems super random.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean anything particular. It doesn't have any like interesting etymology. It literally just means jovial.
No, I don't know.
Which is like a Christmas word, but it's not like...
Yeah, they could have named her just like Joy.
Right. Or like Noel.
Yeah, I don't know. Young Zooey Deschanel, though.
She did good.
Yeah.
She can sing better now than she could then.
Well, she's like a singer.
Right.
She has like a band. Well, no, what she does is New Girl.
Who's that girl?
Yeah, I was going to say, what she does now is New Girl.
It's Jess.
Yeah. It's Jess. The strangest intro ever in television.
I love that intro. It's a classic.
It is great, but you always just think it's going to end on like the Who's That Girl? And then they like answer it.
It's
Jess.
She's super good in this movie. You also learn that they deal with the Christmas is hard for some people thing.
Like she doesn't get it.
With her?
She doesn't get Christmas. She's not about it. She's standing in the shower at work, though, singing a Christmas duet by herself.
Yeah, and she's like giving rest.
Like maybe that's the thing that girls do is like they sing Baby It's Cold Outside to themselves, but like I've never just sat there and sung the guy's part to Baby It's Cold Outside.
If I'm singing Baby It's Cold Outside, I'm singing both parts.
Yeah. I really can't stay.
Time.
Baby, it's cold
Baby,
outside.
it's bad out there.
Also, this was, I think, the first time I'd ever heard that song. Probably like consciously heard that song and remembered it. And I really thought when he says mind if I move in closer, I really just thought the line was mind if I move in like to your house. 6-inch ribbon curls.
6-inch ribbon curls.
That's impossible.
I love the
6 inches.
I love the manager. He's like, somebody's hunting for my job.
Yeah. Do you know his name tag says Wanda?
Does
it does.
What I love about him is that
I saw that in the trivia and I was like, no way. And then I went and looked again. I was like, it really does.
He takes his job so incredibly seriously, but he can't recognize an employee he didn't hire.
Exactly. exactly.
Like a 6'7" dude.
But yeah, he builds that whole thing overnight. But he can only make 85 inch sketches, but he can build the entire Philadelphia skyline out of Legos.
Is that the Philly skyline?
Apparently there's the Empire State Building and a bunch of buildings from Philly.
Weird.
Because apparently Gimbals is a Philadelphia company.
Interesting.
Yeah, and they started the first Thanksgiving parade in Philadelphia.
You know who's got a better Thanksgiving Day parade?
New York. Macy's in New York. But apparently before the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade, it was Gimbals in Philadelphia. Also, I find it hilarious and interesting that people just call it the Macy's Day parade at this point. I hear a lot of people say that. They're like, yeah, we're watching the Macy's Day parade. Like, it's not even Thanksgiving anymore. It's Macy's Day.
It's the day before Black Friday Eve parade.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, so he builds the thing all night, and it, like, when they destroy the whole city made of Legos, like, my skin hurts.
Oh my gosh, it breaks my heart every time.
Yeah, because he...
Also, like, Mall Santa that smells like fish and sandwiches or whatever.
You smell like meat and cheese. You don't smell like Santa.
Why can't you just, like, why can't somebody explain it to Buddy?
I would never hire that dude to be Santa.
He didn't look like Santa.
He looked like Billy Bob Thornton in Bad Santa. Like,
if this is Gimbals, you don't have somebody with a fake beard on. You got somebody who all year works on his beard so that he can go to Santa conventions.
Right. Like, there are enough.
Like, this is Gimbals in New York.
This is the big time.
Right.
This is 34th Street.
When you're Mall Santa in Gimbals. Like in the North Pole in Gimbals.
Oh my God. Wow. Mall Santa, man. I can't.
I feel like our Mall Santa here in Tanglewood Mall is better than this guy.
Definitely. They get in a huge fight, and he goes to jail. His dad bails him out, and
he does the syrup on everything.
Yeah.
And since then, I've wanted to try syrup on spaghetti.
Don't.
No.
Apparently, they had to reshoot that several times because Will Ferrell kept barfing.
Oh my gosh. Does he actually drink that 2-liter?
I'm
sure he doesn't.
No,
I'm sure he
way.
doesn't.
There's no way. You would, like, explode.
But, like, that scene as a child was the funniest thing in the world.
The belch was recorded by The Brain from Pinky and the Brain.
Really?
Yeah, like Michelle LaMarche or whatever. He's like an operatic belcher and voice actor.
Really?
Yeah.
Who would have thunk it?
Them, apparently. Jon Favreau.
Jon Favreau, indeed. Do you think... Okay, here's what I don't understand. Michael.
The kid.
Michael. He's leaving school with his buddies. 2 friends.
Right.
And then immediately when Buddy's like, hey, it's me, Buddy, your brother. His friends are like, who's that guy? And then he's like, I've never seen him before. And that, like, I understand that. You're being embarrassed by your long lost older brother. I can get on board with that. But then his buddies go away, and now Michael has 0 friends and doesn't want to talk to Buddy. And, like, if Buddy wasn't there, he would have just walked through Central Park and just gotten wrecked by everyone from school throwing snowballs.
Yeah, I mean, he would have gotten crushed, for sure.
He would have been like,
for sure.
Would have been like straight up bullying.
Yeah,
like,
for sure. I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily targeted bullying. I think they were just there, like, ready to ambush whoever walked through Central Park.
No, they were ambushed.
You think they were waiting on Michael?
I think they were waiting on
Probably.
Michael.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe Michael's not a cool kid. Yeah, so he would have gotten crushed by the snowballs. But then Buddy comes along, and he's way better at that than everybody else as well, because
than every other human being
but
ever.
he can only make 85 extra sketches. I'm just saying.
He can only make 85 extra sketches, but he makes like 400 snowballs
in
like a second. I didn't. It took me to like probably the top 50th percentile of watching this movie that you can actually hear him making the snowballs. In the background, and it's like
yep. And then he throws all of them like a cannon, and
yeah, and oh my gosh, I don't know what he's doing writing children's novels or children's books at the end. He should absolutely be playing for the New York Yankees.
Yeah, for sure.
Or heck, his little brother is a fan of the Jets. They could use somebody that can throw a ball.
Yeah, true. I don't know who their quarterback was in 2003, but he probably wasn't good. I'm going to look it up, actually.
I don't know, man. Jets haven't been good in a long time.
I said he probably wasn't good.
I know. When did Big Daddy come out? Adam Sandler was a fan of the Jets in that movie.
Actually, I did know that. I was about to say it's Chad Pennington, and I somehow I knew that. Vinny Testaverde and Chad Pennington.
Huh.
Chad Pennington was terrible.
Was? Yeah. Would he have been very well replaced by a 6'7" man who can throw
100,000
snowballs?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he was replaced eventually by Brett Favre for 1 year.
So what we're going to do is some lightning round. Okay, so I need like your immediate thoughts on these different things in Elf, and I can't let you think about them, okay? The tree in 30 Rock.
The tree in 30? I don't even know what you're talking about.
What? 30 Rockefeller Center? He's like, look at this tree, look at this tree. And then she on their date is like, look at this tree.
Oh, yeah, okay. I forgot.
And it's like a garbage tree. It looks terrible.
No, I mean, it's not great, but whatever. It's like her tradition. It's like he's into it because she's into Christmas for the first time.
Right.
And he's like all about her. Which she's pretty.
Question from the listeners: why is Miles Finch's best idea about a farm?
That one I don't have an answer for, because like he was definitely going to write the book. is the thing. Like, he was...
No. Here's the problem. Here's why that happens. He was going to write the book. His best idea is not about the farm. One of his ideas is about the farm. The first idea they come to is they are bad writers and they go with the farm idea.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, they end up going with the elf idea, but...
Right.
Yeah, Miles Finch, man, what a character. Oh, he just comes in there like, I need the car to be at 72 degrees. And he's such an angry little guy, man. So mad. And oh, man.
Peter Dinklage is so good, though.
Oh, great performance from him.
And this is before he was like Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, he was he was Peter Dinklage. He was one of like 3 little men in Hollywood. It's like him and Vern Troyer.
Somebody else, of course.
Wee Man.
Right.
Probably not Wee Man.
The guy in the mailroom says he's 26 years old. Is that guy 26 years old?
Absolutely not. That guy's in his 50s.
I'm 26 years old.
Yeah, the guy just drinking the fifth of whiskey that Buddy thinks is a bottle of maple syrup because his maple syrup comes in airplane bottles.
That's right, man.
They just get sloshed and sing Christmas tunes to each other.
What's the best way to spread holiday cheer?
Singing loud for all to hear.
That's exactly right.
Oh, hold on, I got one for you. This thing that they've got about Simon and Garfunkel with the New York with the Central Park Rangers.
I thought that was hilarious. The park rangers absolutely hate Santa.
Yeah, they're like
this is a recurring issue.
Yeah, he's in Central Park every year. They're out to get him, and
right.
Oh man, and they just start singing, and it's lose it every time, man. They start singing, and like Dirk Lawson's in the bar singing.
They're all everywhere's singing.
I know. Michael's reading the names on the list, and he's like, Dirk Lawson wants like a massage and somebody to tell him he loves him or whatever. And people at the bar.
What do you think of at the end where the girl Charlotte from New York News 5 or whatever is like everybody's hitting on her? Do you like what I think was happening there was they hired this girl and then they just hired a bunch of improv actors to go in there and be like, say whatever you want. You're
probably exactly right. It's just make her uncomfortable.
Like she is going to be trying to do like a real newscast within the movie.
What do you think about Santa Claus? Man. Charlotte, I just think you're beautiful.
I just want to let you know, your eyes tell the story.
Oh, it's great. It's fantastic. Fantastic. Oh, could not be better.
Oh, gosh. She wants a Tiffany engagement ring, by the way.
Yeah, and for her boyfriend to get off his lazy ass and propose already, or commit already.
Ethan, lightning round. What do you want for Christmas?
My 2 front teeth.
Really? That's it?
Yep, that's all. I want peace on earth. I don't know.
Peace on earth.
Yeah.
Gifts is a weird thing, man.
What
do you want? What are you most excited about giving?
I mean, I can't give that away. I've got some really cool presents for my girlfriend, and she listens to this every single week, so I'm not going to tell her.
Me too.
Yeah, I want some, I'd have been...
What do you think of the Santa in this movie? The actual Santa?
Like Santa Claus? Like from the North Pole?
Yeah.
He's cool. Yeah. I think it's a good representation because he's just kind of like he says the like Lethal Weapon line like I'm too old for this. He's just kind of like not down on his luck Santa, but he's just like I've had it with this. People don't believe in me anymore. Oh man, I'm done.
I think he looks good. He looks like real Santa. I mean, obviously, like the whole Santa looking the way Santa does is a Coca-Cola thing, but he looks the way you want.
He
Santa
looks like Santa Claus for sure. Ed Asner did a great job with it. I thought he was a great Santa Claus, hands down, no complaints.
Breakfast food on this movie, Ethan.
Wow, that was quick.
I'm just asking. I'm running out of line around a question. Oh, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite color?
Whoa.
Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color?
Hey, hang on a second. Okay, what is my favorite color? Is this a listener question? It's a listener question.
It comes, I believe, also from my cousin Rachel.
It does come from your cousin Rachel Long, I think. My favorite color is seafoam green.
Seafoam green? Is that because it's the color of your walls?
No, it's the other way around.
Oh, I see.
It's the color of my walls because it is my favorite color. It's honestly, it's because of a Will Ferrell movie. I've just been stuck on the idea ever since I saw Stranger Than Fiction.
Oh, Stranger Than Fiction.
And she talks about the seafoam green Fender Stratocaster that says like, you know, if you give me a shot, I rock. I've just been stuck on that color ever since then. And I still have yet to have a seafoam green Fender Stratocaster, weirdly enough.
So that's what you want for... I thought it was a Telecaster.
Stratocaster. Oh. Stratocaster is the quintessential guitar of all time.
I know, but I thought it was Telecaster.
Stratocaster. Why, yes, these pants are Lycra. Oh, there's another movie where I love the narration, just as a sidebar.
What?
Stranger Than Fiction.
These pants are Lycra is from... Yeah. When does he say that?
She says that.
Well, yeah, I mean, she's
in the guitar store when they're talking about the different characters, the different guitars, and it's like a Les Paul with like flames on it, and he goes into the double neck, and she's like, "I'm compensating for something. Guess what?"
Classic.
Which is hilarious.
You're not gonna ask me my favorite color.
I am. We're still talking about my favorite color. Calm down for 30 seconds. What is your favorite color, Tyler? Probably like jackass green.
Green is on the rise.
Yeah, stock and green is up, bro.
Stock and green is
Blue's
up.
out.
Blue's not out though. See, blue. Here was my thing in high school. So blue is the answer. In high school, we were red and black, and the rival school was blue and gold. But I think red and black clothes looked bad on me, and blue clothes looked good on me. And I would always feel so guilty about wearing blue and gold because that was the rival school, and I put a lot of stock into the high school rivalry.
For sure.
And then we went to college where our colors were blue and silver. I already had all these blue clothes, and in college, literally when I would do laundry, I would have lights, darks, blues, and like I had so much blue stuff.
I feel that entirely.
I've always liked blue, but green is definitely on the rise in my color stock. You know, my keyboard has green letters. The company I work for is green. During my day job.
The company I work for during my day job is a very angry red.
No, ours is a very soft. Well, it's not soft.
Bright
green,
red.
Like
I mean, all green is pretty soft.
Yeah. But I also really like my car's blue, so blue definitely up there. But
okay,
so that's my favorite color.
So just blue, just
blue,
not like a shade.
No.
Okay. So speaking of shades, I wanted to I know we've sidetracked a lot here, but I want to sidetrack real quick because you brought up yesterday in a tweet where you were talking about Parson Brown, right, in the Winter Wonderland song, and not 5 minutes later, I had almost made a tweet about that or 5 minutes earlier, made a tweet about that exact line, but I decided I would save this story and embarrass myself on the pod instead of on Twitter.
I always embarrass myself.
So you said that you thought it was Carson Brown, right?
Yeah, I was.
So convinced. I got that it was Parson Brown, right? I didn't know what a parson was. I was like 5 years old. I thought Parson Brown was a color, like a Crayola color, and that they were pretending that he was like skin colored.
Oh.
And I just had this really weird image in my head of like a flesh colored snowman.
Interesting.
Which was terrifying.
No, parson means a member of the clergy.
Yeah, no, I had no idea. But I thought Parson Brown was a color. It was just like it's like you have wood brown and Parson Brown. It was like a light brown.
Oh, see, now that you're even saying it, Parson Brown to me is a very dark brown.
No. It's like a skin color.
No, it's like the color of a cross, like a wooden cross.
You're just saying that because you knew it was clergy. Yeah,
Correct.
But I didn't know it was clergy. I just thought it was. I had no idea what that meant. I didn't know what a parson was, and I thought it was weird that I didn't get it. I thought that it was weird that they were saying like that he said, "Are you married?" I thought that he was like trying to get with one of the kids. It was so strange.
Well, turns out it's Parson Brown. Parson, he can perform the wedding.
Wanted him to get
that's
married.
That's the idea. Yeah. Ethan, I've got another lightning round question for you, but it's going to be a answer you should need to think about, but you're not going to get to think about. Ethan, what do you say to someone in their late 20s who's never seen either of these movies? What have they missed, and should they drop everything right now and watch them?
Yeah, you should drop everything you're doing right now. It's December 12th and watch Elf. You have like 13 days.
What about Polar Express?
Meh. You can live without it. There are lots of other great Christmas movies. There are dozens of Christmas movies. Well, not dozens. There are dozens of Christmas movies that are better than Polar Express. I could think of at least 5 Christmas movies off the top of my head I would rather watch than Elf.
Yeah, that's the last of my questions for you, Ethan.
Fair enough.
How do you break fast this movie? Because I did the last 5.
Okay, you just have these good ideas, man, out of nowhere.
I know. I don't know where they come from. I have an idea on this one as well, but I'm curious as to what you say.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'm running through the like thing real quick to make sure we didn't miss anything. Like important. Like I don't know. Is there some like theme we're supposed to get out of Elf other than the best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear?
See, what I think it is at my parents' house. It's not a meal per se, but if the best way to spread holiday cheer is by singing loud for all to hear, that means it's about more than one sense, right? You got to hear it, you got to feel it, you got to believe it, you got to be it. So for me, we in Roanoke, you can get this coffee called Rowdy Rudolph. And when you brew it, it smells like Christmas and it spreads holiday cheer, and that is always brewing at my parents' house the morning of Christmas, which in the past was before Christmas, but is now Christmas Day. But anyway, so that to me is what I categorize it as, is that the smell of that special Christmas flavored
Can you
coffee.
still get Rowdy Rudolph?
You can, but you can't get it downtown. You got to get it by B-Dubs.
Okay, that's great. That's near my parents' house. I'm gonna get some Rowdy Rudolph this year.
Yeah?
Yep.
Do it. They probably have it right now when you're in town.
That was my plan, was to get it and then bring some back for Kate and I to have Christmas with. So let's do a breakfast food for this one. I know.
I thought I just did.
Did you? No.
Yeah, it's the Rowdy Rudolph coffee.
What?
Rowdy Rudolph coffee. movie.
That was your breakfast food?
No, not.
Well, I mean, that's not the question you answered, though.
That was what I was answering. Was this movie, if the best way to spread holiday cheer is sing aloud for all to hear, then it's within, like, it's part of the greater amount of senses. So what to me spreads holiday cheer is the smell.
Okay. I mean,
of coffee
I get what you're saying
morning.
now, but like you didn't answer the question I asked then.
Oh,
which was, hang on, is there like a theme that we're supposed to get out of this movie? Because we did a theme for Polar Express, and you just start talking about coffee.
Well, no, I said the theme is that the best
No,
way
I
to spread
said that.
holiday cheer.
I said that.
Right, and then I
Right, but you didn't say it was your breakfast food.
Okay, well, whatever. Ethan, I'm gonna ask you, what is your breakfast food?
I feel like the great breakfast food for this. When I think about Christmas, I think about the smell of a cup of Rowdy Rudolph coffee. You know, my parents always used to brew it every single Christmas. No, I'm kidding. I'm just stealing your thing. Oh God, I mean,
is it like the breakfast casserole on Christmas morning? Because I don't know that it is. I think it's lighter than that.
Well, no, because
You know what
I'm
saying?
struggling to remember like what we used to eat on Christmas breakfast because we haven't done Christmas breakfast in a few years.
Well, and
so like
I think like a lot of my Christmas breakfasts are traditional and not as jovial.
Right, like my breakfast on Christmas for the last few years has been like, especially
Pop-Tarts?
What? No. But it's been like, well, because the past couple of years, Mom's worked on Christmas morning.
Right.
So, yeah.
Really?
So she runs a group home for people with mental disabilities.
Mm-hmm.
So they do like a full ass Christmas because they have like the approximate mental ages of like 10-year-olds. So they still believe in Santa Claus, like at age 60.
Right.
So she goes and like opens presents with them and does like the whole Christmas thing with them. Like she cooks them a Christmas breakfast and goes and does presents so she can give her staff Christmas morning off. And so like, and I'm not like upset about it. Like, but so it's just been me and Dad making breakfast the past couple of years. So it's just like we eat bacon and eggs.
But this movie isn't bacon and eggs.
No, obviously not. So that's what I'm saying. It's like I'm struggling to remember what a like quintessential Christmas breakfast entails. I don't know. Maybe it's a sourdough Santa.
I don't know if it's a sourdough Santa, because sourdough Santa, well, maybe.
I think you underestimate how much I love sourdough bread.
Sourdough Santa is a great thing. I'm certain that I'm like wrong about the kind of bread that sourdough Santa is, and I'm gonna get a call from my grandmother, and she's gonna be like, "All of these years you thought it was sourdough." Yeah.
It's Jewish rye, Tyler.
Not that grandmother.
Oh, we never talked about Hanukkah. I meant to do that. That's why I said Happy Holidays at the beginning. So we're recording this on the first day of Hanukkah. So real quick, Happy Hanukkah for anybody who listens and celebrates Hanukkah.
Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah.
It's Festival of Lights.
Yep. Let's see.
I'm with your coffee thing. I get it. You got coffee that smells like Christmas, and then like that feels cheery to you. I'm with it. I mean, I hate that you keep coming up with the breakfast foods, but you're really good at it.
I know. I also think of it as like it's almost like the whipped cream and the marshmallows that go in your hot cocoa.
Oh yeah,
Christmas
it's definitely got something to do with hot cocoa. It's a feel good movie, but not in like It's a Wonderful Life feel good movie where you like weep at the end. It's like it's just a good time.
I will say I watched this movie while drinking red wine, and I haven't drank red wine in a long time, and like a reasonable amount of red wine and like a good red wine, and I was bawling at the end.
Maybe Elf is a bottle of Merlot for
maybe
breakfast.
It is. I don't know about that.
You put
not that sad.
You know what it is? It's maple syrup in coffee.
That's probably what you ever put maple syrup in coffee?
I have not.
I'm gonna try it tomorrow morning.
Yeah, you might just. But you need some like real maple syrup that comes in an airplane bottle.
Listen, Ethan, I have a home in Vermont. We have a Canadian ambassador on this podcast. I have real.
I'll be honest with you. I don't particularly like real maple syrup.
No, it's not nearly as good as Miss Butterworth.
Maybe on a fancy like brioche French toast, like with some wheat.
I feel like that comes up a lot.
With some wheat germ on it. Like something like sophisticated has maple syrup. Like if I'm eating some Eggos, I want great value non-sugar free syrup. 0% maple. I want pancake syrup. And Natasha, I am so sorry.
Sorry about it.
Yeah, it's maple syrup and coffee. That's what I'm calling it.
Maple syrup and
and
coffee.
You can take that to mean whatever you want. Whatever kind of maple syrup floats your boat. Whether it be maple syrup from Vermont, maple syrup from Canada, maple syrup from Walmart, or liquor, apparently.
Festive power rankings. Here we go.
Festive power rankings.
Number
1, Elf.
Number
2, The Polar Express. Are we putting these in with...
No. This is an annual power ranking.
Annual power ranking. Even ties festive power ranking. We'll do it for any kind of holiday movies we do.
Okay. For all those Easter films.
Or like if we do Boondock Saints for St. Patrick's Day.
Or Independence Day.
Independence Day, better than Elf. Calling it.
I don't know.
Calling it. Definitely better than the Polar Express. Oh, man. Okay.
So that's that.
You know, guys, thanks for everything you've done for us this year. It's been incredible to start this podcast here up at the end of the year. We got a lot of great things coming in 2018. A lot of great movies to talk about. We're gifted with 3 Marvel movies next year. 3 Marvel movies.
And we're gifted with Ready Player One
and a new Harry Potter.
More Star Wars.
Star Wars is this year.
Well, there's going to be another one next year. It's Han Solo, right?
Okay. It's a real Star Wars this year.
Wow.
Rogue One doesn't count.
Well, we're going to review
That's
it.
That's fine,
then.
but it doesn't count. It's not a real Star Wars movie.
Gotcha.
It's like it's not a part of one of the trilogies. Yeah, Solo's going to be cool. Does it come out next year?
I don't
know. No idea. Anyway, we got a new Harry Potter next year. Well, a new Fantastic Beasts. I guess it's not technically a Harry Potter movie. I imagine we'll be doing those movies at some point next year. We're probably not gonna be able to get away from it.
No, we're really excited about.
I am really excited about Harry Potter. I'm jonesing. I love those movies. But we got a lot of great things coming in 2018. So thank you guys for sticking around. This will be the last time you hear Tyler before the new year. No, won't be the last time before the new year.
No,
because
it won't even be the last time before. Well, it'll be the last time until Christmas Day.
Right. Okay. Well, it'll be. Yeah, you'll hear Tyler 2 more times before the new year. Because we have an episode.
But next week you'll hear Benjamin.
Yes. Did we say that already? Yeah. Next week we'll have Ben Carlin on the show. One of the Super Carlin brothers. We're going to talk about The Last Jedi. It's going to be super exciting.
Yep. I'm a little bit jealous that I don't get to be a part of it. But we will actually revisit Last Jedi when we do the whole Star Wars
It'll be
series,
awesome.
So.
And then we'll have something going on the week after.
It's actually gonna be a listener vote. We're gonna go back into the Facebook group. We might put a poll out of a few movies we have in mind, and we might just open it up to
So if you want to have a say in what the next movie we do after The Last Jedi is, head on over to the Facebook group, become a member, and get your voice heard and out there. And we will talk about whatever movie you guys want. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
And then we'll hop back into Marvel shortly.
Yeah, for a good while. We love Marvel, so we're very excited.
6 more movies.
And then eventually Infinity War, and then eventually
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
But those will come later. But we'll be done with Marvel by February 18th, 20th.
I don't know. Whenever Black Panther comes out.
The following Thursday after Black Panther comes out, we will be done with Marvel for a while. But thanks, guys, so much for listening. You got any last thoughts, Tyler?
I do not.
Okay.
Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas. Feliz New Year. Have fun with your New Year's resolutions. We'll get more on that later.
Eat, drink, and be merry.
Eat, drink, and get married.
That's right.
You'll be married in like 4 days.
I know, 3 days. It's right now, as of 12:03 a.m.
I have not gone to bed yet. For the 3 days, man. Wooza. Wild. I'm excited. I'm excited to see you guys getting married. It's going to be a fun time.
All right.
Until next week. Arrivederci.
All I want for Christmas is my 2 front teeth.